Welcome back to the Royal We. Today we're diving into a topic that is both challenging and insightful. Why don't narcissists apologize? Now, in order to understand the mindset of a narcissistic person, we're going to have to accept both the unconscious and the conscious factors that work together within a narcissistic person to make it impossible for them to say the simple yet powerful and healing phrase, "I am sorry," and genuinely mean it. So for those of you who are waiting for an apology, this message is for you. Let's get into both the unconscious and the conscious factors that you're up against. My name is Kevin, and this is the Royal We. Now, before I do continue, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. So for those of you who are waiting for an apology, you're hoping for an apology, stop. Number one, you'll wait your whole life away. And number two, even if they do apologize, it's not going to fix the toxic relationship, and I promise you it's not going to make you feel any better. So why don't you schedule some time with me instead? Let's talk about this. Also, the Royal We private membership is available for you, where you can have daily support by me, in addition to support by a growing community of people all over the globe. Included in the private membership is fellowship once a week. There's Backstage Pass. There's also a workout program that is custom made just for you, all within a private membership app. So head on down to the description box and join the Royal We membership right now. Now, let's get into why narcissistic people are unable to apologize. First, let's understand what unconscious is and what conscious is. Unconscious means that the narcissistic person isn't even aware of what they're doing. It's not that they're intentionally withholding an apology from you. It simply means they don't even know what for. This happens to be the nature of a narcissistic person. It's part of their genetic makeup. Some people refer to this as their unevolved consciousness. Some people refer to it as the narcissistic person's lizard brain. Some people refer to them as just being Neanderthals. However you want to phrase it, they do not have the evolved consciousness to be able to know what they're doing, let alone be able to apologize for anything. Consciousness, on the other hand, is deliberate. This is where a narcissistic person has knowledge that they have wronged you, have wronged others. They're well aware of it, yet they are deciding and choosing not to apologize for it because of their own strategy, because of their own goal, either to control you or to maintain their own image. Now, let's get into examples of what unconscious and conscious factors are when it comes to why narcissists don't apologize. The first reason that we're going to talk about happens to be the number one reason that narcissistic people don't apologize, and it's an unconscious reason. This is a lack of empathy. Empathy is your ability to be able to perceive another person's feelings, another person's perspectives, another person's point of view. This is required in order to offer a genuine apology. Narcissistic people do not have this empathy. Narcissistic people are not able to understand another person's perspectives. A narcissistic person is not able to understand another person's point of view. So it's not that they are intentionally withholding an apology, they simply don't know what for. I first experienced the narcissistic person's lack of empathy when I was dealing with in-laws. As we were sitting at a table, at one time, one of them erupted in this violent rage, yelling and screaming and throwing things and all kinds of horrible stuff. And I remember as I looked into the face of that person, it seems like something jumped inside of me. Like an evil spirit just jumped inside of me. And I wrestled with it for a long time. What is that? What did I experience? It was jarring to me. In hindsight, I'm able to now look back and realize that it was my moment of awareness that the person I was talking to had no empathy. When I looked into their face, there was a darkness behind the eyes, an absence, a void, if you will, where empathy should be. This is the moment in time where you realize that they're looking right through you. They dehumanize you. It's as if they can't even see you as a human being with feelings, emotions, wants, desires. This lack of empathy makes it almost impossible by itself for a narcissistic person to apologize for anything that they've done. And it's one of the most difficult things for you and I to understand, because we assume that everybody has empathy. Now, the debate is out as to whether or not empathy is something that you're born with or it's something that you can develop over time. I tend to believe that it's a combination of both. Some people are obviously born with a natural God-given gift to be empathetic. Maybe some have to work on it. But one thing's for sure. Even if a narcissistic person does offer an apology for something that they've wronged you in, it doesn't mean that it's going to feel good. Because without them being able to understand how you felt or to be able to understand your perspective, then the apology is meaningless. It's pointless. It's fake. So this is the number one reason narcissistic people oftentimes don't apologize. It's simply due to the nature of their genetic makeup that doesn't even allow them to understand that they've wronged you. The second reason a narcissistic person is not going to be able to apologize is a fear of vulnerability. Now, this happens to be a conscious decision. They are willfully choosing not to become vulnerable with you. Vulnerability is required for a genuine apology. Vulnerability is more than just the ability to own up to one's mistakes. Vulnerability is the ability to go within and to understand why it happened. Anytime you apologize to somebody, you prepare yourself that they might want to know what happened. It's normal. It's natural. After all, another person's going to want to make sure that you don't run into that issue again. But a narcissistic person, on the other hand, will choose not to invite you into that depth of them. They would rather you not know what's going on inside of them, so they will put up a wall against vulnerability, which basically says, I am not going deep. I'm not going to share with you why I feel this way. Perhaps it's even too ugly for them to face. Perhaps they just want to keep you off your guard. They want to keep you unstable. And the moment they open up with vulnerability, they lose that. They're no longer in this position of keeping you unstable. You'll start to understand them better. And they don't want that. They lose control if you understand why they operate the way that they do. So they will choose to not become vulnerable with you and not invite you that deep into their life. This is a conscious decision that you're up against. And there's not a lot that you can do to convince a narcissistic person to let you in. The third reason a narcissistic person will not apologize is because of power and control. This is another conscious decision. When you apologize to somebody, you relinquish power and control in that moment. In that moment, you are putting the other person in a position above you to either forgive you or to not forgive you. That's allowing them control in that moment. A narcissistic person will refuse to do that. They can't even allow you to have the control in any given moment to either forgive them or to not forgive them. So in order to maintain their control of the relationship at all times, they will consciously choose to not apologize, to not give you that power in that moment to say, I forgive you. Now, the fourth reason has something to do with your forgiveness. It is the most odd thing, but it's a conscious decision on the narcissistic person's part, and this is a fear of your forgiveness. That's right, a narcissistic person will refuse to apologize because they don't want to be exposed to your ability to be forgiving, your ability to show compassion, your ability to show how much you love people, how forgiving you are. This terrifies a narcissistic person because they don't have these things. And if they allow you the opportunity to forgive them, to show your compassion, what it's going to do is shine a huge light on their inability. And so they become jealous of this fact, and this is going to keep them from wanting to apologize to you altogether. They will consciously withhold an apology because they are afraid that you will showcase your compassion and your love and your God-given empathy, something that they don't have. The final reason I want to share with you is another unconscious reason why narcissistic people will withhold an apology, and this happens to be a lack of remorse. A lack of remorse is like the lack of empathy, except where empathy is required to understand another person's feelings, to perceive another person's point of view, to perceive another person's perspective. Remorse is the ability to perceive one's own feelings in a self-reflecting way. It's the whole concept of, would I like that if somebody did that to me? Narcissistic people lack this ability. They're not able to have this self-reflection. Because they're not able to perceive other people's feelings, other people's perspectives, then they're not able to ask themselves, would I like to feel the way they feel? So you see, empathy, without empathy, it's hard to have remorse. The lack of empathy is the same thing. It's automatic. There's going to be a lack of remorse as well. The most important thing to understand in all of this is that none of it is your fault. The inability for a narcissistic person to offer a genuine apology to you has nothing to do with your worth. It has nothing to do with your value. What you're up against is either their own unconscious nature or their conscious decision. Either way, it's important for you to realize what you're dealing with so that you can navigate this relationship. If you are a person who's empathetic, if you are a person who's able to have remorse, then you deserve people in your life who are equally empathetic, who are equally able to feel remorse, at least on an intimate level. Otherwise, this is going to be a very toxic relationship. As I said before, I am here to support you. If you have any questions about this, head on down there, schedule some one-on-one time with me. Don't wait. I do take telephone calls, video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. Additionally, the Royal We private membership is available for you. Head on down there, get started now so you can have daily support. In addition to that, customized workout program for you, fellowship, all kinds of good things. It's down in the description box. If you're brand new to the Royal We, be sure to subscribe to this channel because this is how this word gets spread. Like this video, share it with somebody who needs to see it. And before I do leave, check out one of these videos recommended by the YouTube algorithm, and I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We.